Everybody, we are back. It is Taped on Live's favorite Raiders podcast, favorite Raiders channel, favorite Raiders everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at Glen Rockney for Glen, and of course, pandasubs.com. Discount code TDL for 25% off. All right. So today we got a kind of a special episode. I really like this episode. We're starting our GOAT team tourney. So we're going to go over the first round. Are we going to do fans? Do the little
I thought we were going to have we'll make a case. I mean, you and I are making a case, right?
Mm-hmm,
like we'll be making a case, and whether fans want to. I mean, I'm hoping we have some old heads in the chat that were like, I was there, idiots. You know, like I bought a house for $25,000 in 1976 in LA. And or in Oakland or whatever, and I saw it all. Life is perfect. I'm hoping we have some of those people, but yeah, I think we should take the fans. I might regret saying that, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's one matchup that I think I know the fans might go one way, and I'm gonna be upset about it. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, that's good. I think you being upset. Not that it's something I enjoy, but I think the YouTube algorithms like when you get mad.
Yeah, they do. They like a lot of hate. It's a lot of hate. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's not what they consider controversial, I guess, right? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things happened though this week. We got a mini camp. That was exciting. I guess we got a little bit of what's happening with the Raiders. Got some little news about who's playing where. Some Kolton Miller talk. So somebody asked a question about Kolton Miller already. They got a new player, Jermaine Pratt.
Yeah,
right, made a signing. One year for a pretty good deal for Jermaine Pratt as well. So I mean, there's a lot of things that happened this week. I mean, it's pretty busy week for the Raiders. They even had brought in Shaquille Griffin.
Sure,
I believe, right? Another long arm corner. I mean, Pete Carroll never changes, bro. This is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like I called that Jermaine Pratt. I'm like, I look at his weight. I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna pick him up because they don't.
That's two former Bengals who still had steam from the cuts on them. From their old team on them. They didn't let Alex Kappa sit very long, and they didn't let Jermaine Pratt sit very long. One had, one is just a size fit, and the other one was a spy tech thing. But when they were, I feel like they were secretly hoping for the Bengals to cut both of those people.
Yeah. And then talking about Thayer Mumford at left guard too. I saw that one. So, there's a lot of things happening.
I missed that Thayer Mumford thing. I didn't know about that Thayer Mumford thing. Wow.
Yeah, because Parham didn't practice on Thursday. Yesterday he didn't practice.
Marcus.
It's going that way. Just get a trade for him. I think you can get something for him.
I mean, you would think they would explore that, right? Like if they're going to do that, but I don't know. I mean, I saw Raheem Mostert's press conference. He said Dylan Parham's doing a great job. So I was like, oh, it's the first time I've heard it.
Yeah. So, who knows? Who knows how that goes? I mean, maybe it could be just an injury. And if he's back at camp, if he wins that battle, then he ends up winning that job. So, but that'll be my thing. I would be more upset if they just cut him, like get something for him. Cause you can, I know you can get something. When he's coming out and the Brandon Thorns and the old line guys, they really like Dylan Parham, so you can get something for him, right?
Josh McDaniels is offensive coordinator for the Patriots.
Exactly. So go ahead, give us like a 6 or a 7. We'll take it. I mean,
conditional fifth, something like that. If it's,
not too greedy on that one, but we'll see how that goes, right? All right. Well, how you feeling, Glenn? How you feeling, man?
Like you said, it's action packed week. It's kind of odd, the media stuff. I've been, shout out to the Raiders YouTube stuff. They've been putting out some really good media things on there, which I like, kind of the roundtable stuff they do. Having Pete Carroll, John Spytek's been doing a lot of interviews, so I've been kind of mining those a little bit and stuff. And it's again, people are always, I get DMs from people and they'll be like, oh man, what they're not talking about the O-line too much. I'm like, because they don't have pads on. I mean, it's really, there's a lot we don't know. The Thornton hype's going pretty crazy right now. I'm gonna be I'm excited about Thornton, but that's one thing where I'm like, let's just see him cook somebody with pads on. Let's see like something to where we can really be like, oh wow, there. I think fans are really, really. It sucks because right now is a big week of stuff, and then after this, it's really 6 weeks of nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting.
There's gonna be a lot of Dante Thornton is gonna be the number one receiver in the league content from from this week on to he started doing some preseason, and he might have a big preseason though because he's just fast. He's a freak, and he's gonna be playing against some twos out there. he might have some explosive plays where like fans are gonna be like,
yeah,
he needs to play. So because the offensive line stuff they were talked about a little bit, but it's not really that much change. I mean, it's just Dylan Parham got hurt, so that's why he was playing left guard, but it's still a battle between him and Meredith. So the thing is, it's not even if Thayer Mumford would play guard, is if he got hurt long enough, it's Jordan Meredith's job, really, than anything.
I can't say I hate that, to be honest. I think he put some good tape out last year, and obviously seems to be excelling in the new scheme for, again, you got to see him engage with blocks a little bit better. I mean, not that he didn't do that last year, but I think in the scheme, you want to see him with pads on, see if it's for real. But I think with Meredith, you're going to have Meredith, Kappa. For now, right? You would think it would be Glaze, because they love Glaze. They were glazing him. Like they were I mean, they were all the press conferences, and you had DJ Glaze, I think, like I said, Meredith, JPJ, Kappa, and Miller. I mean, that's your O-line, it seems like right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad line, in my opinion. I mean, Kappa is gonna suck sometimes. I've come to terms with Alex Kappa. I've dealt with my you're right the whole time, Glenn. I mean, he's gonna start.
Without question.
He came to start, man. I was just like, no, they're smarter than that. Nah. He's too damn smart to not play. So I'm like, he has to play because these guys are so young.
They're young, yeah.
You really have no choice to play him at this point. So that's kind of how I dealt with that. But yeah, it's still a little annoying. But he's gonna get his ass kicked sometimes. But sometimes against the Chiefs, and we'll talk about that with Jermaine Pratt a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I've dealt with it. We'll be right there. All right. So what do you think Kolton Miller's contract will look like?
With what team?
Oh, that's
I mean, why isn't it done? That's kind of my thing. Like they draft. I don't know. I don't want to say that they're. It's just odd. They have all the money in the world to do it. They could sign Kolton Miller and Jacoby Myers right now, but they've also double dipped at each position in the kind of the top 100 picks, really, more or less. I would say top 110 picks. They double dipped at each. You think Rodgers can play some tackle, or you like him there. I don't know if they see him that way, but they have Charles Grant and these guys, and Thayer Mumford. I don't know. They might have some plans after Miller, or they may be waiting for him to have a healthy season or something to pay him. The figure wise, I think he's gonna get. I don't know what the tackle market is.
Yeah, I was looking it up right now.
Because he's what is he, about 30 right now?
Yeah, he's 30.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, a 3-year deal I think would be I think would be fair. A 3-year deal in the 20s. You would think it'd be in the 20s.
It'd have to be in the 20s because Stanley is 31. God, I'm getting old. Ronnie Stanley's 31. God,
yeah, that sound about right, actually. Yeah, wow.
God, good Lord, man.
And you're talking about age, not millions per year, right?
Age.
Okay, I was like, that's scaring me now. Yeah,
he's at 20. He's at 20. Taylor Decker's at 20.
Yeah.
Deion Dawkins is at 20.
Probably 23, 24 million a year, I would guess, for Miller.
Yeah, because he's better than Dan Moore, right? I would say so.
Definitely better than Dan Moore. I think Deion Dawkins and him are very similar.
Yeah,
I think they're a very similar thing, but since the cap goes up a little bit, and when he gets signed, I don't know. I would probably do it because you have Geno, and you're like, you want your veteran quarterback. You don't want to. I don't know. Do you really want to constantly be getting younger at that tackle position while you have this veteran quarterback? Like, I would want to stagger that. I'd want to make sure Charles Grant was there by 2027 to be able to take over, right? And then that's what I would hope, unless he's just crushing it, which I haven't really heard his name at all during this time. So then that's fine. You and I thought he was going to be a little bit more of a project than fans did. So that's fine. I would give Miller a 3-year deal, and then I'd say 3 years, $75 million, and I'd say the third year we'll see, kind of thing with that deal. It's kind of Geno, right? Like it almost feels like you're doing basically what I know Geno gets more money, but you're
Yeah.
kind of doing it where you're like 2 years, yeah, you're our guy, and then you're gonna be 32 after that, and then that becomes the 1-year deal with contending teams, and hopefully it's the Raiders again.
Yeah, because the thing is, if you get rid of Miller, you have to draft a tackle. I mean, it's not even
Right.
an option. Like, you have to draft a tackle. Like, I mean, there's nothing really else you could do, really. I mean,
You'd have to sign another. You'd have to think like, oh, we're gonna sign another one that we like more.
Yeah. You have to. It's something that you absolutely have to do because there's nothing else you could really do at that point. You know what I mean? So, because if you have that situation where, you don't have a left tackle, I mean, are you really that confident that Charles Grant, the 3rd round pick, could be a left tackle next year?
It's a lot of pressure. The thing is you're setting him up to where it's like, okay, maybe after a year, maybe he is ready, but it's like, I'd really love to be more sure about it. And I'd really like to be future proofed a little bit where after a couple of years, I'm ready to hand the reins over and it's a seamless transition, maybe even an upgrade, who knows, but you want to be able to give these guys time in this scheme. You hope Brendan Carroll's here for a long time. And like I said, if Brendan Carroll is really good, I think honestly, after the top 3 coaches on the team, the offensive defensive coordinator and Pete Carroll, I think Brendan Carroll's got the most important job in the world because they're not signing Miller. This is like, man, if this work, I mean, you're talking about heir apparent after Pete retires. If Brendan Carroll's a good O-line coach, he's probably the next coach of the Raiders after Pete.
Well,
like if he's bad, then he's fired after Pete's gone, probably, or whatever. I don't think he's gonna fire his son, but if he's bad, he's gone. But you think like, okay, needless to say, Miller, I would give him the 3-year deal and maybe just be like, some injuries, and you'd have to have a good swing tackle behind him, which is what you hope Grant would be, or Mumford.
You would have to draft him. Just every tackle I look at on this board of top tackles are all 1st round picks. I mean, except Jordan Mailata. Right, everybody else.
And he's a rugby convert, so I mean that was kind of. I think he was just a kind of a special project of, maybe that's Charles Grant, maybe that's Lockie Tossie, who Pete Carroll shouted out too. By the way, he shouted him out. He said this guy doesn't know what he's doing, but he's already picking stuff up better than I thought he would. Which 6'6", 370. They say he weighed in at 370. And to me, they say they're putting him at guard. I'd be like, hey, why don't we take our time and see if he can play tackle? Because if you got feet like a good rugby player, and you're 370 at 6'6", I'd want him at tackle personally. But we'll see. I haven't seen him play, obviously. So either way, I like the idea of Miller and Geno Smith being tied together.
Yeah. I mean, you just can't waste the time at left tackle. It's so serious, man. You just can't do it, in my opinion. Because if you go Charles Grant, it's just, do you move Glaze there? I don't know. I mean, do you just sign a guy like that would be bad. That would be bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't really want to move Glaze around too much, to be honest. Like I'd rather have him just really master that right tackle position. The money discrepancy isn't nearly what it used to be. Like back in the day, remember they used to only pay left tackles, but they pay right tackles now. So it's not really like you're like, oh, I want to switch over there, take that job so I can, get the bag later. It's like, no, you'll get the bag as a right tackle. No problem. I remember that started happening when Austin Howard signed with the Raiders. I was like, oh, he was a good lineman for the Raiders, but it was like, he got a bag. I remember I was like, wow, they're paying right tackles now. They're finally smart, realizing that they put good pass rushers on that side too.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right, so let's get into a little bit of OTAs, man. So talk about Dante Thornton Jr. at number 1 wide receiver. Not number 1 wide receiver, but he's with the ones.
With the ones, yeah.
Which is interesting because they drafted somebody else over him. Named Jack Besh. But it kind of makes sense because he is the bigger, what I would say, he is the freak on the field, right? And if he starts making some plays, he's going to get some time. But I think what's interesting about it is that Jacoby Myers is inside. You know what I mean? So since he's primarily the inside receiver at this point, I think that's giving Dante Thornton that chance because I think they want to play Jack Besh inside too. That's what it seems like. So what are your thoughts on that, Glenn?
It's funny. I mean, backing up to what you said about Besh, I saw a lot of it's weird how tortured we are as Raider fans with news and stuff because people are saying like, oh, Thornton looks great. Thornton looks great. Thornton looks great. Thornton looks great. It's all you're hearing about him. And then people are going, well, what about Jack Besh? Nobody's talking about Jack Besh. I still think Besh is going to be a guy when pads come on. He's going to be a lot better. I just think a lot of his game is physicality, a lot of his yak, things like that. Like I think Besh is going to be just fine in the league. And conversely, that's the question. I know it sounds weird talking about a guy as big as Thornton, but he's going to have to learn a few things. And I think people could be able to, rough him up a little bit and things. And I think he's going to learn. He's gonna have to learn a more complicated route tree coming from that Tennessee offense.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm pretty sure if you're in shorts and a shirt and shoes, it's probably really hard to stop Dante Thornton. Like it's probably really hard. I don't care if you're I don't care if we had Stingley on our team.
Yeah.
Like it's probably pretty tough to do it. So that's not to say I'm downplaying him. In fact, what I love about Thornton is he's another guy that was kind of like, look, he caught 60 some odd balls in college. He's going to take some time. He's willing to put in the work is what it sounds like. So if you're going to be the guy that's like, oh, I can become this, it sounds like already nobody's questioning the work ethic. I think he's a willing blocker is what a lot of people are saying. Like he really wants to, and I think at Oregon, he was blocking a lot. So, I could see him finding a way on the field. And I think a really good rookie year for him would be, because people are doing this like Megatron Randy Moss thing, and I think that's just setting people up for failure, because that's what gets Raider fans to turn on them is when you hype them up too much, and then they don't come out banging. I think a 450-yard season with like 4 touchdowns would be like, oh, okay, we got something here.
Yeah. But I still believe, like, even with how he is performing right now, I think it's going to show up a little bit in camp too. Like even if you could say with the pass and stuff like that, I still think it's just surprising overall. You know what I mean? But Trey Tucker's having a great OTAs too. Nobody's really talking about that, but like every single tweet is about Trey Tucker. It feels like, and oh, Trey Tucker's to the touchdown. Trey Tucker touchdown. Trey Tucker touchdown. So they might have some pretty good weapons outside just overall on this team, and I think that's going to be a big factor for this offense, because I still think the defense is going to be like game to game. Like one game they're going to be like, oh, this defense is great, and then one game we're going to be like, oh, Eric Stokes needs to get cut, and then what I'm saying, it's going to like be back and forth like that with this defense. So I think the offense is going to have to lead the way, and I just think they got some really good weapons outside, because even you're talking about your boy here, Michael Mayer. He's balling too, man.
That's what they say. Balling. That's what they say. And I don't know if you heard Pete Carroll. He said one of the first things he did when he was, around the players was he took Michael Mayer one-on-one and just said, "How you feeling? How you feel? What's up, man? Like, what? I don't care about what happened, but how are you feeling right now?" He said they had a good talk. He said Mayer showed up in shape, and was. I mean, I think Mayer's probably just a little sensitive. I think he's kind of a sensitive guy. I think when he's feels bad, he checks out, and this is not a permanent thing. This might have just been how he was feeling. And there's been a lot of turnover since he's been here. And I think if I never saw that at Notre Dame, but apparently it's a thing, and he, man, if he's good, I mean, the red zone, Gino's really going to have some, it's really going to be on him in the red zone. Like, it's like, hey man, you got big targets to throw to, you got speed in the red zone. You have Ashton Genty and you have your legs. Yeah. So like figure it out, because you got to be able to do it.
Yeah. I mean, if they could use him up the seams and in the red zone, I mean, they don't even have to play. Like they can go 12 personnel all game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they should be a 50% 12 personnel team where they're just running 12 personnel all the time, because like the best 4 like pass catchers are the Michael Mayer, Brock Bowers, Myers, and then and if you had Thornton or Besh or Tucker, and you kind of just mix those guys up, mix the snaps up with them, you can eat, man. And
they could easily have a top 10 offense this year with skill set alone. Again, it comes down to Brennan Carroll and the O-line to me. If their O-line is just even good, just like regular good, they're gonna be able to put up. They're gonna be able to like really run teams out of stadiums at times, where you're like, holy crap, our defense is like kind of giving not doing that well, but we just beat this team by 15 anyways. You're like, whoa, 45-30, just absolutely destroying somebody. And I am excited about the offense. You know, and it sounds like Geno's really like everything that they wanted him to be, which Pete Carroll has said. I'm not shocked by anything because I know the guy really well, and this is exactly what I expected. But it seems a lot of the Raiders who have had, you know, you're talking about a guy like Michael Mayer, the only quarterbacks he's seen since he's gotten here are ass. So, you know, like he's like, whoa, it's quarterback. This is kind of, I mean, it does elevate your team.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. There's some throw that somebody he threw to Mayer, I believe, and somebody tweeted was that's just a throw we haven't seen.
Right.
And like you've been a quarterback in the last couple of years. Yeah, like, just has zip on the ball. You know what I mean?
It's like Semi-Pro when they do the movie Semi-Pro when they do the alley-oop for the first time. Everyone just starts looking at each other.
Yeah,
that's never happened. Yeah,
it's like what is?
Did you turn the gravity off in the stadium? How'd that ball get there?
Yeah. I knew that shit was gonna happen though. Like, Geno, it's just a totally different thing, and like it doesn't even matter where you rank him.
Right.
It's an NFL starting quarterback, no matter.
No matter what, you know what I mean? The jump from 28 or 29th in the league to like 13th is astronomical in quality in terms of what you see.
Yeah. People are trying to give me a Desert Vista versus Mountain Point flashbacks here.
I did like Zach. I like Zach Miller.
I like Zach Miller too. I did, but
bad team, great player, bad teams. Yeah.
I did not like playing him in person. I'll tell you that.
Was he a beast or what? Was he was fast. He was quick, man.
I think he was a better defensive end than he was.
I could in high school, absolutely. I could see that. Yeah.
he like 4 sacks against his 2 touchdowns. I think he threw a touchdown in that game. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, that's awesome.
That's an NFL player in high school football. We were terrified of that motherfucker. I'm not gonna lie. All right. We ain't getting the questions here. That's what the questions we got here.
I think everybody's just partying. They're just talking about beer. That's fine. I mean, it's true Raider tailgate right now.
Exactly. It's summertime. How many different routes does Thornton need? How many different routes does Thornton even need to make a material impact?
I mean, the more the merrier, but you figure you got to have the go ball, which I actually don't think that's going to be a problem. You're going to have to cover your ears, Marks. You're going to have to run a dig. You know, I think you're going to have to be able to run a deep post, all the Henry Ruggs stuff. You know, you're going to have to do all that stuff. The thing about Henry Ruggs was really good is he was really good in the short intermediate stuff. And Thornton does move really well. That's one thing when you watch him, you're like, I get why like you think he can do all this stuff. But if he's able to do like whip routes and stuff and just get outside and beats a safety to like yak afterwards, that's the thing about Thornton I'm most concerned about is like I just want to see him do stuff like that where it's like, look, man, they got 2 deep safeties, like you're not getting over the top, you know. And instead of throwing you contested catch one-on-one balls, we want to be able to get you the ball where you can run and you're 6'5", 220, you know.
Yeah, because you know my thing is I just never seen him run an out route. I'm interested in this.
It's all inside. That's what I mean. Like if you can do that whip one where you sell a slant and then hit, you know, towards the sideline, you might walk into the end zone. That's what you got to. It's got to be a more I mean, it's tough when you're that big, but if he shows any kind of suddenness and being able to sell, you know, to be able to sell something on a DB, like that's when you know you have something special.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Lemonade, I didn't miss your question. It was just a transition to our next topic here.
Yeah.
What do we think of the new linebacker signing, Jermaine Pratt
on
from
GP
the Bengals?
Yeah, GP. He's 143 tackles last year. I mean, this is the kind of thing when you let Spillane go, this is who I expect to come in. Is a guy like this, where it's like, I'm not saying he's Spillane. I know Spillane's been around the ball, you know, and Spillane had the ability to turn the ball over, which I will miss and stuff. But Pratt's no joke, man. Big and strong. It's funny though. The linebacker room, I think he's just a better version of like Devin White, to be honest. And guys that are in the linebacker room already, I think he's a little bit better than Landon Roberts in terms of just maybe backpedaling a little bit and stuff like that. Still not great at it. I still don't love the room, but this is just a total, just no risk signing that makes your team better. And that's what you do in June, right? Is like you make your team better for like little to no money. That's what and it's a shrewd move, and he should start, to be quite honest. And I don't think they My thing is I don't think they make this move if they love the linebacker. They can talk all they want in press conferences about Landon Roberts, Devin White. Oh my gosh, these guys are killing it. You can tell, guys, the moves, the waiver wire is what you read for confidence. They haven't signed a corner yet. Now they're bringing in Shaq Griffin. They might be really high on these corners, and I still don't get it. But they haven't signed one yet. But they went in and got a linebacker as soon as he was cut, and it was like, get him in.
See, the thing is, bringing in Shaquille Griffin kind of says what they say about the cornerback group a little bit, though. Just a tiny bit.
No. So here's the difference. Here's the difference with that. Jermaine Pratt's the best linebacker on this team right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, right? That is 100%.
So Shaquille Griffin would come in here, and what you're telling them is when you're looking at Darian Porter, you go, can you beat him?
Yeah, that's
if you can beat him, we have no questions about you. And even with Stokes too, it's like, can you beat this? Yeah, I think Griffin had a 64 PFF grade. That's pretty average. That's pretty low end of average. Just like, if you're better than this guy, we have no questions about you. Whereas Pratt is like, we need a starter that 143 times. We need a guy that comes in here and you're gonna have to play.
Yeah. See, the thing is with Pratt, and I think with people with linebackers, I think people get a little weird with them just because the way we talk about NFL football these days, and we always want to say this guy can't cover. Right. I mean, that's the first thing people want to do. But he's a solid linebacker. Like, somebody even said that to me on Twitter. I was like, he's a solid linebacker, whatever. It's like, solid. He can't cover anybody. I'm like, well, yeah, that's why he's solid, because he can swing the run.
There's like 5 linebackers that can cover in man coverage. Because that's also a difference too. Is most people say you can't cover. It's like, yeah, you're right. I can't split them out to Brock Bowers or any of these stud tight ends and cover 1-on-1, but most can't. Like the big thing about it is, like, do you have good zone? It's kind of the reason I really like Schlesinger in the draft, and he went almost basically first round, basically. Like, he was like the top of the second round, but I was like, man, I really liked what he did in zone coverage and thought he was perfect for this team. And for the record, the Raiders trade down, so maybe they hoped he was there and he wasn't, and they traded down. But that was kind of, for me, I just like, are you a zone discipline guy? And look, unfortunately, as Raider fans, we know he can take the ball away, because he did. He ended the Raiders season kind of, on fourth down, Jermaine Pratt. So that was I like the signing. I just, when people talk about better than last year's room, I'm just like, well, last year's room sucked. So it's, and to me, they're talking about Gainer a lot. And that's who I'm hoping steps up, is somebody like Gainer, one of the Bergs, like one of those two guys. Like, one of them steps up, I feel like a little bit better, because you would at least have a nice variation. And they're going to be tough to run on. I've been saying that for a long time. It's going to be tough to run on the Raiders this year with what they've got going. They got corners that can tackle. Crosby's the best run defending end in football by far. And then, see if we get Wilkins, see if we can get him this, for whatever that happens. Kuntz is solid against the run. Adam Butler solid. And then you have Roberts and these guys coming downhill. Like, they're going to be tough to run on, and Chin, So when the Broncos signed J.K. Dobbins, they want to run the football.
Yeah.
Chargers want to run the football.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs might want to run the football a little bit, like it's a different kind of league right now, and you're seeing the league adjust to it.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, he's been consistent against the run for most of his career. And he also has 8 career interceptions. Yeah, I mean, we can say, like, you can cover, but I mean, obviously, and I know his interceptions last year were a little bit a luck, but I still like some of the plays that he made to get those interceptions right. I mean, he's always in the right spot. He has a good job for the ball, and if you're a Raiders fan, he picked us off. So at the playoff run, and you know what I'm saying. So with that one, I think will he cover everybody great? No. Can he play zone coverage and do what I can't think of his last name though, but Lou, defensive coordinator,
Anarumo.
Anarumo, right? He's able to play zone there and do a good job. It's just saying he's going to be solid. Like, is he going to be like the greatest linebacker in the world? No, but he's definitely Robert Spillane replacement. Easy. You know what I mean? Like, it's right. Like that's the type of guy you want to replace with Robert Spillane.
Right. For half the money at this point.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah. To get Jermaine Pratt for that much, and Spillane's getting paid $12 million, bro, that is a deal. And that's the thing. Like, you have to look at it. Like, it's not really, is he going to be a Pro Bowler? Like, I don't know, maybe, that could happen any type of way. Right. But It's he's going to be a solid player. I know that. I know he's going to come and he's going to play smart. He played in a really smart zone defense where they did a lot of trickery and they try to fool people. And he did a great job playing in that defense. And of course, he did great against the Chiefs, which I think is very interesting that these Raiders players.
Hey,
they do great against the Chiefs. You might join the team. I feel like something that we need to look at next year in free agency, Glenn. Since you play well against the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's going to be part of the thresholds for guys that are going to come here. No, you're right, and also sound like a broken record. Yeah. Linebacker is also a position where they probably haven't seen the physicality of the group yet, right? Because of the no pads. So I think they know all these guys can play downhill to a degree, right? They know that, so they're going to go find a guy that's like, okay, does he have good zone discipline? Can he take the ball away? Bring him in. We feel pretty confident he's put 10 years of that on tape. So that's a good idea, and they think they're, and for good reason, they think they're set on like just the downhill style, guy that goes down and when the ball's handed off, they can pick their gaps and get through there and make tackles and push the running back. I think they're set in terms of that, and we'll find out if the like I said, the Berg brothers and Gaynor, if they're able to show out in camp when the pads are on and physical. I'll put it this way: whoever lays out Genty in camp is going to make the team. Because the way they talk about Genty is like they're just like, oh, he's special, it's special. So somebody, some of these linebackers, you'd be like, I'm gonna light this dude up one time, and that's how you're gonna make this team.
Yeah, for sure, dude. So they're asking, is Roberts middle linebacker and Pratt the will? I would just kind of get away from that because I think with the they're gonna play nickel.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna play nickel for the most part. So maybe that might happen. I mean, maybe Pratt will be will when they go 3-4, 4-3. I mean, or even 3-4. So when they do that, they still like to go over with the over set when they get in that kind of look. So it looks like a 3-4 defense, kind of, where they have Crosby standing up and probably like Coons, and they have like a 3 linemen down, and then they'll have Roberts and Pratt in there. And then maybe they switch it up and have White and Pratt or White and Roberts, because it all depends on this team likes. Because we talked about they signed Lennon Roberts, right? But I mean, if you think of who's the 2 most athletic guys, it might be Pratt, because Pratt. I'm looking at his PFF, and he has a lot of middle linebacker here. It's not like him playing well with them. So, like maybe because to be honest, Roberts is pure just just go downhill, tackle somebody. Like he's the pure dumb linebacker in movies.
Exactly. Yeah, Bobby Boucher. He's Bobby Boucher.
Yeah, he's Bobby Boucher. Exactly, Bobby Boucher.
And Roberts is the water boy. Yeah.
Or like in the program, the guy bangs his head on the car. Yeah. That's Leonard Roberts. He just wants to hit somebody, right? And but when you try to get some teams like maybe the Chiefs or like some other teams on the schedule, you're gonna want to play Pratt, and you're probably want to play Devin White. I mean, even though Devin White's not the greatest, you hope like maybe Eichenberg or Lindenberg is supposedly balling out there too. Vinny was asking me a question about that because he asked me about Kolton Miller. So obviously he's doing something out there. I guess he got the green dot with the setting team.
Wow.
So watch out for Lindenberg, right? But that's a good sign, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Like you might have a not very high ceiling group, but you might have like a bunch of guys that know what they're doing, which that's nice. And then you, like I said, if the guy that Landon Roberts, everyone knows what he is. Like you said, Pratt, I think we know what he is. I think he's put pretty much put that out on tape for his whole career. You know what he is in terms of his abilities. You don't know what Eichenberg is. You don't know what Lindbergh is. You don't know what Gaynor is. So those are the guys to me where it's like, okay, Pratt's probably the starter. Roberts is definitely like, okay, when we're playing the Chargers and Harbaugh wants to take his shirt off across the sideline. All right, Pete, we're running against you. You're not going to stop us. All right, I'll have Landon Roberts, and he's gonna crack people the whole game. But then you're gonna also have, like you said, you're gonna need Pratt plus a guy who can be a little more versatile. That is one of the battles of camp, in my opinion, is who's that next linebacker, basically third down linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because Devin White scares me.
Big time. I honestly don't want to see him on the unless they're like I said, unless they have this weird thing where they're like, we found a way to have you rush on third down in some weird way. I'd be like, okay, I'll listen to that. He says he's healthy now, but to me, I don't think it's. To me, I think he. Yeah, I don't know.
What does that do with anything?
I'm glad you're healthy. I mean, it's just for you, but. Like to me, if they find a way to use him in like this weird rushing way, like blitzing way, but then when you have him on the field, you kind of know there's a blitz coming. That's always what I hate about stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because at the end of the day, I'll be like, okay, so you're blitzing. And then, you dropped into coverage. Okay, I'm throwing at you. You know, like it kind of tells what you want to do. That's the problem, is it doesn't allow you to be multiple with some of these guys.
Yeah. Somebody asked, how was Pratt and White played against the Chiefs in the past in the playoffs? I know White played really well in the Super Bowl, right? Didn't he?
He did. Yeah, I think they said he would have won MVP. I don't think he was MVP, but he was like, if they gave it to linebackers, he would have been MVP.
Yeah, in the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl he had
a pick, right? He had a pick,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, he still gave up 7 catches for 95 yards, but I don't know if that was a garbage time.
Garbage time all day, dude. Of course, it's lockdown, dude. You kidding me, dude? You're not in a 1-score game that he'll lock everything up, of course.
In 2022, he got 4 interceptions though. There's a lot of no, that's my bad. It's 4 touchdowns. Sorry, 0 interceptions. My bad.
He had he gave up 4 touchdowns. Yeah. Well, that's big. That's a big switch up. I thought you'd say he had 4 defensive touchdowns, and then it was like, no, he got cooked 4 times for.
My bad. I was looking at the wrong column. Wrong column.
Yeah. Wrong column will get you.
It'll get you. He hasn't played well against the Chiefs. Definitely not. Devin White's worst grades are against the Chiefs. Jermaine Pratt, though, he played pretty well against the Chiefs.
I mean, they did. Their defense played some of the best defense I've seen play against them that year when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl and they beat the Chiefs. Their defense was lights out that game. Yeah. So I have a hard time believing he was bad in that game.
Yeah.
What was that, 2021? 2021, that Super Bowl when they played the Bengals, or the Bengals played the Rams, but they beat the Chiefs to get there. Yeah. Their defense was lights out that game.
Bro. Yeah. They were that's whole second half, man. They were balling. Because that's what I'm saying. Jermaine Pratt, that's why I know, like, he is a good player because we know he's played well in big moments. I mean, as a Raiders fan.
Yeah. A lot of playoff football too.
Yeah. So that's why it's not a bad signing to me. Because it's a linebacker. Like I think the linebacker position, you don't need a superstar, in my opinion.
I think that's the way they treat it. I think they go like, look, we know what we want. Let's find guys that do what we want. They don't value it high in the draft, it doesn't seem, especially on the Pete Carroll side. I'm trying to think of like just true off-ball linebackers. How many of them they draft early? I don't
really. I mean, Jahad Campbell, right? This year, that's about it.
No, I mean the like Carroll team.
Oh,
yeah, not very often, right?
I mean, Bobby Wagner, I guess, was
Wagner's. Yeah, right. So special case, but that was probably a decade, 12 years ago. And at this point, you're just kind of like, you find a guy in free agency, like, you find something serves. It just doesn't seem like a position they attack very hard.
Yeah, I mean, most of the NFL doesn't. So.
Yeah,
I mean, even with the draft, you know what I mean? Like a lot of linebackers don't start going.
Schlesinger was you don't know what Jalen Walker is technically. He might be an off the ball, but I have a feeling he's not. But it's tough to tell how they're going to use him. But yeah, I think Schlesinger was the first linebacker, or Campbell maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the end of the first round. Yeah.
So. Can I ask this? Is Pratt replacing Spillane or Diablo at will? I would just.
Yeah,
I would say that he's gonna be on the field all the time.
Right. I know the positions. To me, people have asked me about the positions too, and I'm like, to be honest, I don't know. I just expect them to put their best 2 guys on the field.
Yeah,
most
at
of
all
the
times.
time. And maybe they'll have some times where they want to put 3 linebackers on the field in certain matchups, but I doubt it, to be quite honest.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think they'll try to use more 3 safety sets, getting Chin playing slot and closer to the line of scrimmage and lined up? Yes.
Yeah. Thomas Harper, Polamalu, and Chin. I could absolutely see that with Chin kind of playing a glorified linebacker position. I absolutely could see that.
I just hope they don't throw Lonnie Johnson out there.
He's a starting nickel right now, right?
No. It's Jeremy Chin. Chin's the nickel corner. So they're doing a lot of free safety. And Darnell Holmes.
It's weird that Bennett's not getting. I mean, maybe he's getting cracks at the nickel position and just not doing well. But I feel like I really want to see Bennett there. But they say he can't tackle. But as somebody put in our chat, I don't know if you guys noticed, somebody put in our chat a while back, they said, I talked to Ja'Cory Bennett. Like, they just talked to him. And he said his shoulder was literally for 2 years, his shoulder was just like out of commission.
Yeah.
And then even in his press conference, he brought that this person was not bluffing in the chat. I'm just saying that much. They were correct. Bennett was like, my shoulder's fine finally. So I was like, oh, maybe he could tackle, you know? And I was like, I'd really feel very comfortable if Bennett was the nickel. And this is why I want them to sign Ramsey, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
It's like why, or trade for him. His contract doesn't bother me that much because what are we doing with it? If we're not paying Miller and we're not paying Myers, let's go get Ramsey. That's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, they haven't spent money in 2 years, man. They're just holding on to this money. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on here. So maybe we don't get bossed around on short yardage plays this year. I agree, Eliminator.
Yeah, you're right. And that's the thing is I think they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough to run on, and I think they're going to be a much better tackling team this year. Coverage, I am mortified, to be quite honest, but we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Does Jair fit the defense? I mean, do you want me to tell you the truth, or do you want me to lie to you?
Well, I mean, your channel is about not lying.
I mean, it's called Take No Lies. So I won't lie.
Yeah.
His arms. Pete Carroll's like, his arms are too short. His arms are too short to box with God. That's why I told somebody.
Well, I mean, that probably makes sense. And that's why I want Ramsey. And to me, like, I know I'd like an outside corner, but like to me, I think like that nickel and a safety kind of nickel safety hybrid thing is something I'd like to bring in. Not more so. I mean, I'd love another outside corner too, but if they do Griffin and then maybe see what's up with Ramsey, because like who's going to trade for Ramsey?
I know, man. See, I think if they trade for Ramsey, they put him at safety.
No, you have to. Even Ramsey said he kind of wants to move back there.
Exactly. So bring him and let him play safety.
A little nickel on first down. If a team wants to go nickel with you, because he could tackle. That's what I love about him. Yeah,
man. You have to play him at safety, man.
Yeah, sure. He's 30 now. He even said he's like, look, I'm not as fast as I used to be, but I still play ball, and he's correct. And he kills the damn Raiders anytime they play him. One arm interceptions and stuff. I mean, my gosh. I feel like teams would have done it by now. And it's kind of like, okay, the Raiders are like one of the only teams that actually can do it without shifting stuff around, without transferring money from the savings into the checking, you know? Like they can really do it.
Where's Brandon Staley at?
He is where did he go?
Oh, he's with the Niners, huh?
Yeah, he's with the Niners.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit. Interesting.
Yeah, well, they can't afford him right now.
Oh yeah. The Niners are
Niners.
They paid every 30-year-old they have. So
and they paid everything. And Brock got the bag.
Mm-hmm.
They had to let go of some linemen because of that, basically. Like, so no, they can't afford. That's the thing is the teams that there's a lot of teams that really could use him, but can't afford him. And I think Miami's trying to get like a 3rd or 4th round pick for him, and everyone's like, "No, you kidding me? Mm-hmm. Like we're paying him this much." I think I feel like the Raiders are in on him, but the Raiders are like, "Look, we'll give you a 7th round pick for him and take the contract off your hands."
He's saying Staley is the DC for the Saints.
No, you know what? That's right. I knew he got a job. Like, he got the job for the Saints for Kellen Moore. Yeah. That's right. He was with the Niners last year.
I love how much he was like, we do the alpha and beta show, man. I don't know if he got hired now with his bald head, man. He might switch to alpha.
Is Staley bald now?
Yeah, he's bald now. He got his defensive coordinator look. I'm looking at him right now, man.
Wow, is he still doing yoga on the field and twerking?
I don't know. I think it's changed.
Yeah,
I think it's changed, man.
Yeah, the bald head doesn't outweigh that for me personally, but yeah. That was, I mean, all right, guys. This is all out warfare today. They're like, Coach, you're twerking on the field.
Oh,
yeah.
You're right about that.
Yeah. Guys, give me all you got. What do you mean, Coach? What does that even mean in the context of you twerking on the field?
It's like white man turkey. It's just,
Yeah, no, it was like Bob's Burgers. Yeah, it was crazy.
All right. Anyways, guys, back to football here. All right, here we go.
That was football. Yeah,
I mean, it's football talk, right? It's football talk.
That was football.
Mayor talking about 13 personnel in practice. What's your opinion about that?
They like Ian Thomas. They bring him up any chance they get.
Oh, God. I mean,
Hey,
they like any tough guy, guy.
Well,
Thomas blocks, they just love that type of shit.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what, when they want to do some kind of like, if it's like 3rd and 2, I could see a 13 personnel look where it's like 13 personnel, Ashton Genty. It's like, okay, we got Brock Bowers and Mayer leaking out. You know what I mean? Like that. I like that as a look. I don't know if like 13 personnel as a by default, right? But what are you going to have Ian Thomas check in at tackle or something? That'd be crazy. Like how Lee Smith used to do back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be kind of tight. That's a throwback. I remember when the Raiders on Sunday Night Football just blew the doors off the Broncos in the run game doing that. So they might try to attack some teams like that. But I think in a 3rd and 2 situation, you pull up in 13 personnel. It's not like a true kind of like goal line set, but it's where you can actually run some interesting plays if teams sell out on the run. I could see that.
Yeah, sure. All right. Let's get to this next topic here. Ashton Genty sharing carries. Because I'm gonna hit this real quick because I just want you guys to realize that if you feel like slighted by this topic or Pete Carroll doing this, just know that he's lying to you. I just want you to know. Like you could look at his history. He has had one running back his whole career, from Chris Carson, Marshawn Lynch, Kenneth Walker, his rookie year. Mm-hmm. Don't let this dude lie to you. So that's what I would say to this. I just want to get that message out there. Like Genty's getting 300 touches, bro. Like I don't like how many touches is Moser to get? Like I know people are trying to hype up Sincere McCormick. I saw that the other day.
Zamir White. Pete Carroll was hyping up Zamir White the other day. I was wild.
Whatever, bro. Why are you lying?
He's trying to get someone to offer a 6th-round pick for Zamir White.
Zamir White, he's the best running back. Maybe he's eating some snaps. A 3rd-round pick, it might get you though. Whatever.
He's like Zamir and I were watching YouTube videos in my office the other day, and he has a great algorithm. I just love him. We got a great group. We have a great group. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe him. I don't believe him at all. So. That's what I would say about that, man. What are your thoughts about that, Glenn?
I'm a little more the other way, slightly on this. I mean, Genty's still the guy, obviously. I mean, yeah, of course he is. I think I think Mostert's gonna get about 8-9 carries a game. Yeah, around there. Like my question is how much do they run the football total? Right, that's the crazy thing because the split, my 8-9 carries a game could still be the same ratio, where Genty's still the bell cow. But Mostert gets a few, but are they running the ball 30, 35 times a game? They might with Chip Kelly.
Yeah, I think it's their plan.
I think they really want to do that. And then they want to hit play action and absolutely just kind of do what the Niners do. I think Kelly's going to have like this. I don't know if his scheme is a lot like Shanahan. I mean, that's for you to say, like a Shanahan, but I think he's going to do like the idea where he wants to, like, where the Niners would wear people down with McCaffrey, wear people down with Mostert back in the day, and then Kittle would just be wide open on play action. And that's like kind of what they want to do, I think. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's like I can still see Genty getting 25 carries with Mostert getting like 9. And there's like they run 34 times a game. And people are like, why are we running the ball so much? But they might be doing it well.
Because my thing is, if you protect Geno, because the thing is, I talked about this before. Like, Geno gives you kind of that flexibility where, like, if you get down and you have to pass,
right,
you can pass. But they want to control the game and run the football and play a little smash mouth, I believe, and mix it up with Genty, probably mix it up with Mostert too. But I just think the NFL's sleeping on Chip Kelly. It's just so weird to me. Nobody like. The Raiders got Chip Kelly.
And no one cares.
Yeah, and nobody cares.
If he was CJ Stroud's new OC, people would be like, Chip Kelly leaving Ohio State to get the old Ohio State quarterback. Like Good Morning Football, Kyle Brandt would be freaking out.
Yeah.
Backflips on the set of Good Morning Football. And they usually are good to the Raiders, so I'm not trying to hate. But you're right. Like but the thing is, I think what a lot of people don't realize is they think Chip Kelly, they think it's like a lot of like slot receivers getting handed the ball. They think like exotic college stuff. And I'm like, this dude just runs the football. This dude runs the football at a crazy rate. I mean, like I said, Shady McCoy, he got sick of Shady McCoy, but Shady McCoy was like 1,600 yards.
Yeah.
He had Ryan Matthews and DeMarco Murray post Cowboys, and they were still top in the league in rushing.
Yeah.
Those guys, I mean, DeMarco Murray was good. Ryan Matthews sucked. And like he's old Fresno State running back. He runs the football. That's what he does. And at Ohio State, he ran the football a lot, and he had 2 good receivers when he needed them. Or he had a few more than 2, but he had 2 really good receivers when he needed them. And then, but for the most part, it was Henderson and Judkins. Yeah. That's how they beat you. Mm-hmm. And then their defense was really good. And I'm pretty sure Chip Kelly's going to be doing that, but it's not going to be a vanilla run scheme. It's going to be like, I think the nerds are going to go crazy. I think after like 2 weeks, the nerds are going to like probably short circuit over what Chip Kelly's doing with all the little, like how Ted has those fancy little breakdowns with the lines moving people and stuff. It's going to be those breakdowns. Not calling Ted a nerd. I'm just saying, like, just those people. Oh my, Ben Solak, all those. My gosh, Chip Kelly bringing this out. The 1979 Texas A&M run. That's only happened once ever. People are going to be doing that.
Yeah. The nerds will come out because my thing too with the nerds too is they love Geno Smith. I don't see that Geno Smith love as much either. They love Geno. Like
they loved him in Seattle.
They love him in Seattle. They love him in Seattle, but like, he's in Las Vegas now. Oh, the Raiders. I don't know.
Yeah, they loved it when people were tossing fish to each other at Pike Place with a cup of coffee. Whenever you're coming back from commercial break in Seattle, and the guys are tossing fish to each other. And Geno Smith in the highlighter safety vest uniform. They loved him then. But you know what? To quote Geno Smith, they wrote me off and I didn't write back.
Exactly. 100%. All right. I don't know. What is he asking Reggie Bush about? It's about, I
don't know. Reggie Bush. Oh, Pete Carroll. Like, loving the run game. Yeah, absolutely. Real fast. Reggie, how mad do you think Reggie Bush is that he's not like in the NFL right now? He would be so damn good right now.
Yeah, he would.
He was in the wrong era for what he was doing. Like if he was with Andy Reid, they would be insane. I mean, I'm glad he's not, but it's just like Reggie Bush would have been out of control with like the modern NFL or Kyle Shanahan. You know what I'm saying? Like, like he kind of was Christian McCaffrey before the league knew what to do with Christian McCaffrey types. It was kind of crazy. Yeah.
I mean, he actually still was pretty good.
No, exactly. He was. It's just like the high people. If you weren't around when Reggie Bush was coming out of college, it was like Barry Sanders, coming out and call it. You're like, he's going to be the best of all time.
Yeah.
And then Lito Shepherd destroyed him his first game. It was crazy. Again, I was just thinking about that. But yeah, Pete likes to run the ball. Chip Kelly likes to run the ball. That's what they're going to do. So I could still see Mostert having double-digit carries in a game where Genty still out-carries him by a lot.
Yeah.
I could see it. And God forbid they're winning a game by 10 points and they run teams and they run the clock out like the normal teams do. God forbid that happens.
You know what I'm saying? All right. Non-Raider football question. What's both of your opinion about Shamar Stewart's holdout?
This is interesting.
Go back in the draft next year. See, I've heard about this, but like nobody's really everything's so damn vague, and they want you to go deep dive into it your damn self and research it. So I don't know if you have, Glenn. Like, so what is really happening with that?
So so first off, you have to understand Cincinnati Bengals would be the only team that would ever have this happen to them.
Okay.
Since the beginning of time, they've always been different about Paul Brown is insane. Like he's an insane person. Carson Palmer. The only reason the Raiders got Carson Palmer is because he retired because of Mike Brown. He was just like, I'm sick of this. Doesn't want to do a contract. Do with that information what you will. But they constantly have this. Look at T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Like it took forever for them to get paid. Trey Hendrickson right now. First round picks are normally pretty slotted. It seems pretty cut and dry. I don't know if you've noticed this, but a lot of second round picks haven't signed, including our own Jack Best.
Jack Best.
There's a weird thing happening. I think all agents of second round picks are basically like they're kind of just stopping the shit, like because whatever. It's none of our business. And as long as the problem is with the first round pick, Shamar Stewart's the only one. Now, people who are talking about he has all the leverage, he does not have the leverage, in my opinion. You have not played a snap of NFL football. And if you do the thing where, okay, I'll enter the draft next year, how many teams do you think are going to be like, let me draft him higher than 18th overall after he sat a year out? After he sat a year out because of contracts, every team's going to be like, you're a 5th round pick, you idiot. You know, like, unfortunately, and if you could be the most pro player, I want players to get as much money, he has no leverage. And I think the Bengals are doing that with him. They're like, you want to embarrass yourself, young man? Because it is embarrassing. Like, I'm pretty sure they're hoping to get a deal done in terms of guaranteed money. It shouldn't take this long. It's kind of weird. But I think the Bengals know, like, you're not going to sit out a year and then go higher than 18th overall next year, dude.
Yeah.
So what are we doing here? Yeah.
Yeah, you can't sit out a year.
Oh, that's interesting. Stupid. David Ochoa. Can you bring up that David Ochoa comment? The Houston.
Yeah.
Jaden Higgins got a fully guaranteed 2nd-round contract. So all the other agents. So this is why the 2nd-round pick thing's happening. So that's why Jack Besh hasn't signed his contract. Which again, it's not that Jack Besh is asking for that, but you think like every agent. You know, I don't know if you guys watch Entourage, Ari Gold. You know what I mean? Picture every agent like that going, no, you motherfucker, you gave Jaden Higgins, who sucks, you know, like instead of my, you know, like, you know how these guys talk. Like, my client had, you know, his brother passed away and he went to the Senior Bowl. He should get, you know, like, you could have all of this, like, that's how this stuff goes behind closed doors. So the 2nd-round stuff will get sorted out. And that was weird that they made him fully guaranteed for what? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. That is weird.
He's I didn't know agent. That. David, thank you for that in the chat. Thank you.
Yeah, he's a great agent. Great agent. All right. There questions here. It's a good question. Thank you, David, for that question. How much of the running back performance, running back room performing bad is on Getsy? Probably a lot.
Yeah, I just think Zamir White sucks. That's kind of the problem. Is last year they like with the Raiders this year, what we talked about with Spillane, replacing Spillane with like guys that aren't really 3-down linebackers at all, and trying to paper mache a 3-down linebacker out of like 4 different guys. You sign Pratt, and you're like, okay, I see what you're doing now. Yeah. Last year it was like, oh, well, I was all for letting Josh Jacobs go. For some reason, I don't know. I didn't want to we'll see. I didn't want to give him the 4-year deal or whatever. They replaced him with Zamir White and Alexander Madison. Nobody said you had to do that. Nobody said you had to do that. And Alexander Madison was really close with Antonio Pierce's son. And when he said that, I was like, really? You know? And then Zamir White, who had a nice end of the season, but at no point was like, let's load, 200 plus carries on this guy, like guaranteed it's going to work out. That was never the case. Yeah, a lot of that's on Getsy for sure, because Getsy sucked. It wasn't good. There's no way to spin that as good. But also it's a personnel thing too. It's to me, I thought that was the worst running back in league room going into last year. Yeah. Even before we saw it. And it was. So what offensive coordinator makes that good? They have a good running back room right now, I think. I think that, I'd still look out for a little camp cut guy. To me, I kind of wanted to keep Amir Abdullah. I think he would have fit this room perfectly.
Me too, man. I don't know.
Did anybody sign him?
No.
That's weird, because that's a perfect third back for this.
It might be the injury he got, though. It might have been pretty bad.
True.
He's 30-something. So
because he can, pass protection. If you're a 2-minute drill, like if you're down 7, you have him and Gino. I'd really like that. But yeah.
Joe Cece and all the Raiders draft choices are signed. Did he sign today?
Oh, I saw in the chat somebody said Besh didn't. I knew the 2nd-round pick was taking longer, so that's cool. Yeah, no, that's no problem. I knew it took a while, the 2nd round, because of a certain reason. David blew my mind with that thing. I had no idea that happened. That's crazy.
That's interesting as hell. All right, let's quick. DJ Glaze, you talked about him getting glazed earlier.
He got glazed.
He's getting glazed by the by the coaches. He won. He's out. Honestly, won the right tackle job.
Oh, I don't think there's any question.
Right?
Yeah, I think I think you can, with Sharpie, write in his name.
Yeah.
And good for him. I mean, I'm fine with that. I remember during the draft process, I kind of wanted them to get a tackle, but that was also for Miller too. I was kind of like, well, you don't know what's happening with Miller, and you can't guarantee that Glaze is some, decade-long starter, but it seems. I mean, his press conference, he said, "Look, last year I thought I had an okay year, but I kind of was just going off of instinct." He's like, "Now I feel like I know how to play a lot more. I just know I pre-snap, I know what I'm doing a little bit more." And I thought last year he played pretty damn well. I mean, pretty solid.
He played
rookie,
bad.
and I didn't like the draft pick at all. So I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay, this guy's coming in and playing." And sick. I mean, I'm down to go to war with him at right tackle. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I'm happy that he's taking that job like that. I mean, that's a big thing for him. You know, even maybe the right tackle talk maybe kind of motivated him.
Right.
I mean, because there was a lot of talk about them taking Banks or Mimbu,
Sure.
right? I mean, every mock draft had right before the draft they were taking Kelvin Banks to play right tackle.
Still took Charles Grant too, so you have to beat him.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, right? You still, I mean, yeah, that's different than taking a Banks or a Membu, but you still took Charles Grant. You don't know where he's gonna. I mean, he's a left tackle, but he also could have. What I mean is, he knew. I mean, he was a 3rd round pick last year. He knew he was coming into that same kind of situation where, okay, maybe there's a starter there. Is he good? It doesn't matter. This guy's been playing football longer than me playing there. And this year, it sounds like off the bat, everyone's like, "Nah, that's our guy," and that means you took it. For Pete Carroll, only talks about competition. That's all he talks about. It's probably the most common word of his press conference. And Glaze kind of won it already, and that means he picked up the system quick. Which it sounds like Kelly's system's kind of complicated from what I'm getting.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. I mean, probably from offensive line perspective, because all the shit he's doing. I mean, that's the thing. Like Raiders gonna have shit where like Ashton Genty's like at the slot, and he comes and he pushes it, and then he runs like power from like the NFL's not ready for this shit. That's why I was like,
fake jet sweep to Genty out of the slot. He runs a wheel off of that. Yeah.
They ain't ready for it. The NFL ain't ready.
Yeah.
I just hope he's not like Ryan Grubb and he gets the spacing right. If he gets the spacing right, man, he's gonna cook, bro. He's gonna cook all damn day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, Baby Shug's in the house. You got Baby Shug.
Hell yeah.
They're moving Mumsford to guard. Yes.
I think he's going to compete there. I don't necessarily know that means he's a guard. I mean, to me, I think maybe the tackle position, they don't, because I still liked him as a backup to Miller at tackle more than most backups they've had to Miller at tackle. And, you know, maybe he's losing to Charles Grant. Maybe that's what we're thinking about for all that. Maybe that hasn't been talked about, but maybe they like Charles Grant more than him right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mumford's huge at guard too, isn't he? Isn't he like 6'7"? That's this Lockie Tossy guy too. I hope they play him in preseason, like towards the end of games. Like, who cares, right? At the end of the game, like let's just see, because I want to see him just like how quick he moves. I just want to be able to like get an idea, because it sounds like they're a little excited about him.
Yeah. All right. Thoughts on Rick and Caleb. Who's Caleb Joney?
I don't know, man. People ask me about this Arkansas safety too. I was like, dude, I don't know who that is. I'm not going to pretend I do. When I watch preseason games, that's what I'm going to look for. But I have no idea about some of these undrafted kind of. Oh, wait, Caleb Joe. I actually don't know who that is though.
Who's Caleb Joney? Man?
They have another 6'9", 370 guy. Holding a workout for him.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see. Holding a workout for him. I don't have any thoughts on that actually.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. I mean,
guys.
You'll get the answer if they sign him afterwards. That means we worked out well.
Exactly. All right, man. Let's get to the fun of the show here.
Let's have some fun, man.
But let's do it. Like so we're gonna get interactive here, guys. So we're gonna use your votes, even if they bother me. We're gonna use your votes here, okay? So you guys get to form this bracket. So I'm gonna show you guys the bracket here. Here we go. Boom. All right, can you see it a little bit?
It's loading right now. Okay. Right. Zoom in for me. Zoom in for me a little bit. That'll work. So these are years of Raiders teams, and they're competing against each other for the all-time Raider team.
Exactly. All right, so let me back up a little bit.
Come down just a little. There you go. Yeah.
All right, there we go. That's good. All right, so here's our bracket. We the top 8 Raiders team. Let's just see what the fans think of this, because so you wanted to go 1982. I went 1974. I just felt like it was more respectful.
So
you want to go. You want to go 1982, but go ahead. Give me a case.
So 1982 Raiders are interesting, right? Like they are, and I'll pull up. I will say Wikipedia not bad for Raiders seasons. They give you the draft that year with all of that, all concise and everything. This is Marcus Allen's rookie year, and what you'll know about that was it was a strike year. Man, I was talking to my dad. My dad graduated high school in 1981. Baseball strike 1981. Football strike 1982. He's like, what? You know what I mean? Like just sport. They're playing scab guys and all that stuff. The Raiders were good that year, and they blew a fourth quarter lead to the Jets, I want to say, in the playoffs. I have a feeling if that year goes just as normal, I have a decent. The defense was not good, but I have a feeling they have the best offense in the league, and they just find a way to win the Super Bowl that year, or at least go to the Super Bowl. The NFC was a little bit better than the AFC at this time, but I tell you, this 1982 team, I liked it more than the 90 team that got beat 51-3 by Jim Kelly. I don't know if you watched that game, Marcus.
They didn't have Bo Jackson. They didn't have Bo.
What was Bo gonna do? Defense? He was gonna stop Jim Kelly? Jim Kelly.
They didn't have Bo, bro. They didn't have Bo. I mean, to be fair.
Jim Kelly looked at them and he said some nasty things to the Raiders that game. I mean, I've never seen a team get cooked like that. That was crazy. I watched that game on YouTube. I was like, first off, the Bills, their problem was not the playoffs; it was the Super Bowl. Yeah. But they were like, you can't get cooked 51-3 and be on this list. But okay, no problem.
All right, man.
Let me go through this.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about the 51-3 game.
Let me go with that because the Raiders blew a lead and they lost 17-14, which is also bad. They lost to the Jets.
But it's what I'm saying. They're the best. I mean, and I can't go Mark Wilson. I'm sorry, I can't go Mark Wilson.
But
I can't do it.
The draft this year, I mean, not that it matters, but the draft. Marcus Allen, 10th overall. Jack Squirek, beast, though. I think he had a big interception in the 83 Super Bowl. Van McElroy, played for like 10 years for the Raiders. Great draft that year. This is when the draft had 12 rounds. And so they had, I really just, it's not on the list. It's fine. I'm over it. 1982 Raiders, great team. Obviously, they put it all together the next year, so when Plunkett got in there.
Yeah. Apologies to Baby Shug, man. Sorry about the dealing with that issue, man.
You didn't get fired. It's just a next chapter started.
Exactly.
Next chapter. It was a cliffhanger. Chapters in books often end on cliffhangers.
Exactly.
Which is how your life feels right now. Next chapter.
Exactly. Appreciate that money though, man. I appreciate that.
Shout out. That's great. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, man. All right, so let's get it going because I mean this could be an easy one, obviously, because you see how Glenn feels about the 1990 team. I mean, this is easy.
He's going. We gotta give Sugar a shout out. He's going to the Scout Academy.
Oh, Scout Academy. My bad.
So I was right. He's
going to the Scout Academy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a cliffhanger. It was a cliffhanger.
I do know the game, but I could sharpen my knowledge. Who knows? Maybe it landed a job in the NFL. Yeah, man.
Did you leave them a voicemail and they just couldn't say no to you?
Scouting Academy is good though, man. It is good. Dan Hatman, I recommend him. I mean, that's where I went. I mean, that's where Matt went too.
Damn.
So it's a tape don't lie, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
You guys have a plaque there, probably a big.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like
up in the rafters, honorary alum.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? I did make the main page, so the super page, like they post your shit.
There you go.
For offensive lineman and defensive lineman. So
yeah, this is but like you said, this is
easy
because I just trashed this night. That's year I was born. So yeah.
Yeah, man. 1990 team. I was 5 years old on this one. This is like my first Raiders heartbreak because my brother was a Bills fan. You have to understand this. Okay. My brother is a Bills fan, and my brother is he's 40, he turns 47 this year. So he definitely was talking shit to me as a 5-year-old Raiders fan. After the 51-3. But his karma was missing the Norwood field goal the next week. So
Yeah, they blew their wad. They blew their wad against the Raiders.
Well, let's just talk about these teams. So let's just before we just kind of quickly move on because we know they're going to move on the next round, 1976. So 1976 Raiders, right? They won the Super Bowl. Finally beat the Steelers, even though the Steelers did have a lot of hurt players in that game.
Mm-hmm.
but they finally got over the hump. What I thought was interesting about a lot of these Raiders 70s team is that the defenses weren't ranked as high as I thought they were.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird, right?
It is, but it isn't, because I mean, look, you look at Hendricks, right? Hendricks is an older player that they get from the Colts. They're constantly making moves at that position because they know they need to, whereas the offense felt pretty built from scratch, right? Like I was looking at another team that we'll talk about, I think, later, is the 67 Raiders that were very good. The next year, right, after 67 doesn't go exactly the way they want to go, the next year they draft Stabler, and then I forget, right after they drafted another good player. It was Stabler and somebody else right after. They've just been building this team, and you look at the big picks, it's been offense. I mean, they've had the good running game since 1967, basically, with Banaszak and guys like that. They're what was the other guy? Cliff? No, not Cliff. There's one more running back in the 60s that was great. And they're just building and building, but they have a Steelers problem. Right, they have a Steelers problem. I think I hope somebody in the chat was around during this time, because like that just had to have been what we're going through right now is pretty hellish for the Raiders. But like constantly losing to the same team over and over again really sucks.
Yeah.
And this is the year they do it. They go 13-1, and what's crazy is you look at that 76 thing. Their toughest game was the divisional round against the Patriots. They won 24-21. And then they roll the rest of the play. I mean, everybody else, they finally get the AFC Championship game. They destroyed the Steelers 24-7. Absolute, just absolute vindication, right? Chariots of Fire music playing, and they just beat their ass. And then the Vikings, Willie Brown. I mean, it's just an all out slaughter. The 76 team absolutely destroys that 90 team. Bo getting hurt does suck, but they don't beat Jim Kelly with Bo Jackson, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because Kenny Stabler got his second MVP stolen by Burt Jones on this year. Burt Jones stole his MVP, and then didn't he beat Burt Jones with the ghost to the post?
Yeah,
he
did.
Hit him with the ghost to the post. No, not.
And that O line too.
That's not this year. That's not this year. My bad. That's I guess that's probably 74, probably
74, I think. And then I mean, you're just talking about the 76 O line that they've been building for 10 years. At the time, starting with Otto. Really, I mean that O line. It's just like, I mean, it's tough to find better ones of all time. I understand, like, you're talking about guys that are 280 pounds versus guys now, but I mean, when you speak relatively, I mean. Oh, that was what I was talking about. In 1967, after they lose, they draft Stabler and Art Shell back to back. Right? Those are you're talking about two Hall of Famers. But like that's coming into 10 years later. Really, that comes to fruition, and I think that offense is just with Cliff Branch, Fred Biletnikoff, who's been there forever, Dave Casper.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, Mark Van Egan. I mean, guys like that are really good players. Pete Banaszak finally getting his due. Man, this is just 77. I mean, 77. I mean, this is truly like when when you see like Duke playing like St. Bonaventures in the first round. I mean, like I hate to say it, but this is just getting your ass kicked in the first round. The 76 Raiders are one of the best teams of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's just super interesting that I just thought the defenses were better in the 70s. You know what I mean? Like when you look at the rankings, like having a 14th ranked defense is like not good. In fact,
I mean, well, what's the offense ranked?
First all the time throughout the 70s, basically.
And this is when teams didn't have the personnel to guard what the Raiders were doing either. Like, I'm sorry, you didn't have corners. You didn't have Darrelle Revis. You didn't have guys like that back then. I mean, you had good corners. Your corners could tackle back then for sure. Maybe even better than some of the guys now. But like, yeah, your corners had to tackle. Your corners were running into piles a lot and stuff, and picking stuff off on third down. You're like, okay, third down, they're going to pass it. Raiders were like, first down, we're sending Cliff Branch past you. What are you going to do about it? I mean, they had a cheat code. Whereas in 1990, what was their cheat code? Bo Jackson, which, sorry, but
it went away.
People had very good running backs too, other than Bo Jackson.
Yeah. All right, so we got the 76. The next round. All right, let's go to we go 2 for 7, or we going 4 versus 5. Where you want to go?
2 versus 7. Let's get the 2 blowouts out of the way.
All right, so 1983 versus 1974. This is not as
It's
much
not
as
a
a
blowout.
blowout.
Yeah, this is like a what do they call it? A 12 versus a 5 and the thing where it always
yeah. It's
yeah.
close.
Yeah, this is tough. Okay. I mean, obviously you wanted the team that got it done. You're going to favor that, the team that did win the Super Bowl and in blowout fashion. I'll say that much. They blew out. It was Washington, right? That they played in the Super Bowl that year. Marcus Allen reversing Fields' run there. The 74 Raiders, man. I mean, because was that the Lynn Swann year?
I believe.
Or no. Immaculate Reception. Was that the Immaculate Reception?
No, that's 72.
That's 72. So what?
And they had the best offense in the league this year, and Kenny Stabler won MVP.
Yeah, this is the first year under Stabler where they're like just absolutely dominant. Because for a while, people didn't think Stabler could do it.
Yeah,
Stabler. You have to realize when you're contextualizing Stabler was at Alabama. Namath was right behind him. Namath obviously calls his shot. Namath is not anywhere near the quarterback, actually down to down that Stabler is, but Namath has the legendary lore about him, called shot against Johnny Unitas, and then all that stuff. And they both went to the same school, Stabler backing him up. But Stabler really starts putting it together during this time. You know, I'm gonna lean 83 here, but it's not by much. Also, I will say they drafted rookie Dave Casper here, which probably set the league on fire.
Yeah.
By the way, where did Dave Casper go to college, Marcus? Are you familiar with where?
Notre Dame?
Oh yeah, that's right. So all we do is churn tight ends out of there. But,
exactly right.
Yeah, leave it up to a Catholic school to churn out tight ends. But nonetheless. That's not funny, Glenn. Stop it.
Go ahead.
No, I'm getting to 83. That was the time.
Yeah, you got it. You go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then 83 though, the 83 draft's pretty nasty too. 83 draft's pretty nasty. 4th round pick, Greg Townsend out of TCU. 1st round pick, Don Mosbar. He was a hell of a player. I'm telling you, Mervin Fernandez out of San Jose State a little bit later. Okay. These guys played ball, man. These guys played ball. I'll go 83, but 74 was that first with the new, because that's Madden's first year, right? Or second year.
Second year, I think.
Yeah. That's the first or second or third year under Madden where it's like all starting to come together. Whereas in 83, this is kind of the end of an era, the culmination of what the Raiders had been building since 76 and all that. It's kind of the end of it, right?
Yeah.
So I'll give it to 83, but I think I made a decent case for 74.
I'll go 83 too. I'll just go 83 too because I think Marcus Allen is the difference. Let's keep it real. Like this is prime Marcus Allen, right? Because I almost put 85 on my team, but I hate Mark Wilson teams, so I just get to it. So
I would say if you put 85 over 82, I'd be mad because I think 82 they could have stole a 4th Super Bowl or at the time 3rd, but 4th total. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tuk let you know that Madden was hired in 67.
Okay, so I'm wrong there. Okay, that's fine. No worries. I wasn't alive, so I'm just kind of going off of. I
mean, you were doing good. You had some good history at 74, so like you know what I mean. So
I'm a little off on my timelines, but that's okay. No. I look. It's they had a Steelers problem. That's just what it was in the 70s. They were the best. They were probably one of the best teams in the NFL. The problem was in their conference. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you had wild cards back then either. So it wasn't like you had this alternate path where you could dodge teams and stuff. Like it was like back in the day, it was like, you're going to face the Steelers. So figure it out, you know, and they couldn't do it for the longest time. And I bet it was hell going through it at the time because you felt like Tony Romo. You felt like, you know, all these guys that never get it done. Mm-hmm. And then they finally do it where they beat them 24-7 in 1976. That's just awesome.
Yeah. Cause you know, really what it was, the Raiders were the best offense in the 70s, and they faced the Steelers, and they couldn't. The Steelers would stop them. That's really what it was.
Yeah, I mean the Steelers had a legendary team. I mean, we're talking like, you kidding me? Like,
yeah.
It's great.
So 83.
83. No. So 83 and 76, 2 Super Bowl teams. Not a very big shock so far.
All right, so let's go 3 versus 6 here. This is an interesting one. 1967 Raiders. Mm-hmm. That point differential is crazy. I'm sorry. They were demolishing teams.
It's
Those
actually
are called ass kickings, right?
This
there.
isn't close, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Close. Because I'll say this: I don't think this is a hot take, maybe. I don't think the 2002 Raiders are better than the 2000 Raiders.
Oh yeah. See, the next one is when I'm gonna need some fan.
Yeah. So that's a hot take. It's kind of a spoiler. 67 Raiders are awesome. And they had a Packers problem at this point, but the Packers were, in the other conference.
Yeah.
Let me just go through what happened here. So this is the AFL Championship. Super Bowl doesn't exist here, I don't believe. Right?
Mm-hmm.
No, they do. The Super Bowl exists, but it's just that the merger hasn't happened yet. So Super Bowl exists. They beat the Oilers in the AFL Championship 40-7.
I mean,
and so their quarterbacks were George Blanda and Daryl LaMonica, but LaMonica was just, he had a crazy ass arm. You're talking about like back then, you're just like, this would be like, I'm trying to think now. There's not even a way to do it. Like, this would be like if you found a quarterback that threw a 92-mile-an-hour football right now, where you're like, well, how is that happening?
Yeah.
Like this, it was that type of thing. By the way, I sent this to Marcus, but if you guys are ever looking for a fun stat dive, 1962 George Blanda season with the Oilers. Just look at his touchdown to interception game by game. It's incredible. He had a game where he went 8 of 18 with 6 interceptions, and it's unreal. But anyways, Lamont, I think Blanda was kicking for this team or something. I can't remember. It was something like that. Running backs: Pete Banaszak, Estes Banks, Clem Daniels was the name I was searching for earlier. Very good player. And then I think they had a running back that died a couple years later. You have a young Fred Biletnikoff in the receiving core. Again, Biletnikoff with a quarterback that can get the ball to him. That's amazing. Billy Cannon at tight end. Offensive line starting to shake up. Jim Otto, that guy has he been playing since 1900? This is crazy. I feel like he's the first player. That's why he was 00, the first player of all time. Willie Brown. That's why when in 1976 you hear the old man Willie call by Bill King, it's because he was playing in 1967 for the Corners for the Raiders. Tom Keating, defensive lineman. There's a lot of like Hall of Famers on this team. There's a guy named Gus Otto, is that Jim Otto's brother? I have no idea.
I don't know. Gene Upshaw is on the team.
Gene Upshaw is on this team. This is an awesome team that lost to a team, the best, what a lot of people would say is the first best coach ever.
Yeah.
Vince Lombardi. I think 67 clears 2002 by a long shot.
All right. So all right, let's look at 2002.
Can you make a case for 2002?
A lot of people are in the chat. I don't know if we're gonna win this one, Glenn. I don't know. People are saying
because they were alive during it.
That's the last time the Raiders played in the Super Bowl.
And what happened? I'm sorry. Like I know there's Barrett Robbins. I know there's the playbook situation. They got their fucking ass kicked, and it was embarrassing, and it sucked. And 2000 felt like the year to me.
Yeah, because the difference between 67 and 2002 for me, and
why can't a 67 team be good? Because it's old.
Yeah,
that's what it's all anybody's saying.
Who's stopping Tim Brown? Which is, Willie Brown's pretty fast, right? I'm sure that's the corners.
No. You guys, we're adjusting. To me, it's. Are you talking about them lining up against each other, or who's the better team relative to when they were playing? Because that's to me is like 67. They were more dominant in 67 than the Raiders.
To me, it's the point differential, bro. Plus 235. I don't think people understand.
I don't like when people disrespect.
They were kicking everybody's ass. They literally ran through the AFL, and if they didn't lose in the to the Packers, who were just a totally different game, right? It's just because that's the thing. AFL was passing, right? Passing. Isaiah R. He's playing devil. He's not playing devil's advocate. Yeah, of course you are, because you. That's the last time you saw. That's the last team you saw. But like, in my opinion, like, if you think about it, if they didn't have to play the Packers, are we talking about anything else? Is they had to go play a team that was a totally different league, right?
Yeah,
totally different way to play football. Like the AFL was, we're gonna pass, we're gonna be more exciting, so we get people to watch. And the NFL was still this old school, like, we're going to do counter every single play with some big ass linemen, and they got their ass kicked. That's really what it is. It was finesse versus power. And that's why the NFL always felt like they were bigger until, Joe Namath and then when I beat him is because of that. But Plus 235 is crazy, bro. I don't know what's the last NFL team to do that.
Again, first offense, second defense, and people do this with basketball a lot, where they're like, "Oh, he's playing against janitors and stuff." I'm sorry, man. You go out there and suit up and play in Chuck Taylor's or whatever they were playing in. You go out there and play and say like, "Hey, man, I don't even have shoulder pads for you right now. The money's not looking right. Go hit that guy." It's a different league. Like, man, some of these coddled players couldn't handle those conditions back then, even if they are the specimen that you see now. Like some of these guys, man, like you're not flying private to these games. You're not doing like a lot of this stuff. It was a different league back then. And it's not my fault the Raiders haven't been good in 30 years. So it's why I became a historian on the Raiders.
Yeah. Because this point differential is top 20 all time. They're 16th all time in point differential.
I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, it's one of the best. It's one of the best teams to like lose a Super Bowl ever. Like, and I'll say the 2002 Raiders are not one of the best teams to lose a Super Bowl ever, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh man, it's super interesting with that one. Like, because to be honest, like it's gonna be I feel like this is gonna be the final two, Glenn.
Yes, I think it's 67 against 76. Yeah, I agree. 83 is nasty though. 83 is the line. I didn't even mention Howie Long yet. Like, but we're gonna argue those later. We're gonna we're gonna bring those in. But yeah, it's man.
See, Andrew says 6-7-1. My first game of tennis was Chiefs first.
What a beast, dude. See, that's what I'm talking about, dude. I was hoping somebody was like, I saw it,
exactly.
Like I love it, dude. I love the idea. Just think about it, man. You buy a house in like in Oakland for like $23,000, and you have this team that's plus 233 in point differential. I got a shoebox 1-bedroom apartment, and I watched Jimmy G, Gardner Minshew the last couple of years.
I know.
I'm eating tinned fish like somebody who lives on a train.
Yeah, bro. That old Bay Area life ain't the same, dog. It's not the same as now. You paying some that Gavin Newsom prices.
That's what I'm saying, man. I really, that's my problem. Is I wish I could be there in 1967. Like, we have Daryl LaMonica. I'm like fighting people at bars. Nobody's filming it.
Oh shit. Okay, all right.
People thought I was just some guy who drinks beer and doesn't know anything. They're like, I love my Raiders. I have everything on DVD. I have all these old games on DVD.
I love the Raiders too, man. I when I was in like elementary school, I read all these books. You know what I'm saying? I read every single.
Me
Raiders.
too. I did all that. I did all that stuff. When I get into my teams, I know from literally the minute they started painting the first stadium they ever had. That's when I started looking back.
That's a good question. When did you watch your first televised NFL game? Oh man. The first NFL game I remember was my dad used to love I can't say that word anymore, but the old Washington. From 1990. Because he's from.
I feel like you could say it because that's what the team was called,
right?
Yeah, like that's what they were called when you watched them. I mean, like, what am I like? Whatever they're called now is whatever they're called now. But
the 1991 Washington team.
They were badass, and they were badass.
That's probably the first thing I remember watching.
Mark Rippon.
Yeah.
Mark Rippon. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's tight, man. We started in Santa Cruz. Wait, Andrew, can you go to that comment? Can you expand on that? We started in Santa Cruz. I would like. Can you just expand on that? Because I actually don't know that. I love Santa Cruz deeply.
I did not know that.
Yeah, just put that in the chat. We'll get to it later. But yeah, and my first memory of an NFL guy, I was not raised by a Raider fan.
Yeah,
like you, I was raised by a Rams fan.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad was born in New York, so he liked the Yankees from New York, but he moved to Arizona. They did not have a football team at the moment because the Cardinals were in St. Louis. And so you got everything televised from LA. So Lakers with Jerry West, and then He liked the Rams at the time. The Raiders were in Oakland at the time. So he got all that stuff. So I watched The Greatest Show on Turf when I was a kid. Like that was on all the time. The first year we got a Sunday ticket, my dad scrimped and saved, looked under the couch cushions so he could watch, Dick Vermeil Rams. I'd do the same thing. Hey, I'd turn the phones off. I don't give a shit.
Me too, bro.
Yeah, that offense was cooking. So, but the Raiders games, I would listen. He would put on the radio when he would do yard work, and I loved Bill King. I'm a broadcaster guy, so I loved Bill King, and I loved Greg Papa on TV, and I was an A's fan, so I really got super into them. And my dad was like, his dad liked the Raiders, my grandfather, and he would go take a bike ride with a 6-pack. Right, 6-pack of beer, bike ride with a radio attached to the bike, and get hammered listening to Raiders football, called by Bill King. Does it get better?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. So I really identify with my grandfather, and I think the first Raider game I ever watched was sometime in 2000. Probably I was 10 years old. That was the first time I really sat down and was like, "What are the Raiders doing?" And it was one of the 2000. I don't remember it exactly, but it was that 2000 season.
Yeah. It's a great transition here, Glenn. Because here we go. This is the. Oh man, this is. I know where I'm going to go with this. But what are your thoughts on this one, Glenn? 1980, they won the Super Bowl.
They did win.
They won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for the
Raiders.
So I'll put this. Okay, you're going 2000, right?
Oh hell yeah.
Okay, so I will have to, just like this is like ESPN First Take. Molly is signaling to me that I am in charge of arguing for the 80 team. So being I guess the historian was like, this is a 9-17, or no, I'm sorry, that we're on the wrong year. 11-5 team, right? So not a dominant team, second in the AFC West in this, but they got through it. This must have been one of the first years of the wild card or something like that. But man, you're looking at the playoffs that year. 27-7. They went over the Oilers. 14-12. They beat the Browns. That was a tight one. AFC Championship. Can you imagine how lit this would be? AFC Championship game at Chargers. They win 34-27.
Oh, I would have that
would be lit. And then they absolutely trounced the Eagles in the Super Bowl 27-10. Your boy Mark Wilson is the first round pick this year.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Millen, second round pick. Beast.
Okay.
Beast. Those are the notable picks there. Yeah, 80s, it seemed like an off year for the NFL, kind of.
Yeah.
It does, but they don't have Marcus Allen yet at this time. Running backs, Kenny King, right? Kenny King's on this team. Derek Jensen, Mark Van Egan at the end of his career there. Raymond Chester at tight end, and Todd Christensen, monster tight end room. We're hoping to have the same thing this year there. Cliff Branch kind of getting near the end here. The offensive line is interesting because you have Shell and Upshaw who are getting up there a little bit. The rest of it, not. David Dalby was a good center. But then you have Lester Hayes, and Mike Davis, excuse me, but not Mike Haynes. Burgess Owens, these guys are good players. It's a tough call. I think you might get me on this one, but their linebacker core, nasty. Matt Millen, Rod Martin, Ted Hendricks. See you later. You're not doing anything against our linebackers. I'll make the case. I feel like you're going to win this one, though.
Yeah. See, my thing with the 2000 team, and I just want every Raiders fan to take a step back. If Rich Gannon does not get hurt,
you're right.
Ravens,
and Tony and Anthony Dorsett does not blow a fucking coverage where Club Shay Shay gets by him. That's the only thing that happened in that game offensively.
Do they beat the Ravens in 2000 if Rich Gannon does not get hurt? That's what I just want you guys to all to take a step back and think about that, because that's what changed that whole game. Like, I know as a Raiders fan, you believed that they were going to beat the Ravens. You went into that game thinking this is probably the best Raiders team you've seen in a long, long, long time. Like, this is like it was like, because you have to think about it.
Yeah.
Since '95, they kind of went like they moved to back to Oakland.
Yeah.
And they didn't really have a good team.
Right? What was his name? Tom Walsh, bed and breakfast offense.
Oh my God. Yeah. I don't even talk about it. So and then they got Gruden, right? And they had a couple 8-8s. And then they had just awesome team, right? I mean, you could tell by the point differential, they were a very dominant football team, right? Yeah. On offense, they had an all-pro quarterback. I mean, Peyton Manning's in the league. Mm-hmm. Kurt Warner's in the league. All these guys in the league. He's the first team all-pro quarterback, right? And you have, this great running game. They didn't have Jerry Rice yet, right?
Right.
But they had a great passing game.
Tim Brown's still in his prime at this point.
I guess this is more of my childhood, I guess. So it's kind of like, because you can't convince me. You cannot convince me that they don't go in there. And who played the Super Bowl? They played the Giants.
Yeah.
You can't tell me they wouldn't beat the Giants that year.
Tony Soprano. Tony Soprano put a hit out on Rich Gannon.
You can't convince me, dog.
Yeah, Johnny Sack called it in from New York.
You cannot convince me that they don't find a way to beat that Ravens team.
That's a good call.
they're so good on offense that they would have found a way. Like Gruden would have kept Chiron going at it. That's why I like them over 1980. But I understand from like a Raiders fan perspective. Like you look at 1980, they won Super Bowl.
Yeah, and the first wild card team to ever do it, which is unreal. And then you're talking about you figure too. It feels like probably New York Giants kind of level, like when the New York Giants snuck in and just with the Strahan, Justin Tuck teams, like it kind of feels like that, where it's like, what is this team doing, man? But nobody can stop them. This is so they don't even have Marcus Allen yet. And so like talent wise, I think the 2000 Raiders talent-wise, if you go roster to roster, but 1980, it's like finding a way to win as a wild card. I do think it was a bit of an off year, whereas 2000 was just like, okay, it's also an off year, but we're playing this. I mean, you look at that Ravens defense, man. Like, even if we take out the funny business of that game, Peter Bulware, young rookie Ray Lewis, I think, is on this team. Or not really. I don't know if he's a rookie, but he's like in his first couple years. I don't even think they have Ed Reed yet, but they are just loaded. Saragusa. They have an ass pack at quarterback in Trent Dilfer. But it doesn't really matter. Yeah. They had Jamal Lewis, who the Raiders, I think, did a phenomenal job against in this game. I don't know what the stat line is, but he wasn't the reason it lost. I swear to God, it's Anthony Dorsett blows the coverage.
One coverage, bro.
And that's crazy. The game came down to one coverage, which is just Shannon Sharp walking into the end zone. He's just licking girls' toes while he's walking in there. You know what I mean? Like Ocho. You know what I mean? Like he's walking into the end zone against this Raiders team. It's terrible. That loss killed me, and I was just getting into football at the moment. I said, is it like this every year? And then you find out, no, actually, sometimes you suck ass, and you're going to do it for 20-something years. Yeah.
I was looking at some of these scores. So they beat the Panthers 52-9, week 17, and then they went out and beat the Dolphins 27-0. Right.
Oh,
and they had the last 3 weeks of the season, they had 10 turnovers. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I gotta go 2000. I'm sorry, like, because to me, like when it comes to like the three best Raiders teams of all time, we're getting 76, 83 in this one. That's where I'm like looking at, because you just cannot convince me that they don't beat the Ravens, because even the Ravens game, they had 2 turnovers, bro. So let's just imagine what Rich Gannon does with those turnovers.
Yeah. I think you have a case. I mean, with 80, the thing with 80 is, okay, we got it done though. You know, that's just the way it is. Like, we got it done. Saragusa wasn't playing back there to fall on someone's shoulder, but also ifs and buts, right? I mean, that happened, you know, and guys were falling on guys' shoulders in 1980 too, as well. So like guys were doing all types of nasty stuff, and our guys were doing that. Let's be real. Like, so like your point differential, you win it. I'll give you that on the 2000, because that was a special one for me too, where, you know, at the time I was an A's fan, and my A's were starting to get cooking at that time. We had our own playoff woes, but we had Miguel Tejada, we had all, you know, Jason Giambi, we had like, and you're still seeing the remnants of the baseball field for the first half, and you're just like, my A's and the Raiders, and the Raiders used to root, like Al Davis, I think, rooted against the A's to go to the playoffs, so the field would you know, go back and stuff, and there was a question, I don't know if you might put it out, it was from Shug, about your first Raider game attended. I thought that was kind of interesting.
What's the first Raiders game you saw live, and who did they play?
I talked about this once, but it was just in passing on here. But my first Raider, I didn't go for a long time. Again, my parents weren't Raiders fan. My mom didn't like football. She didn't let me play. She didn't let me play Pop Warner growing up.
Oh, wow.
And then by the time I got to high school, I was just a baseball player, so I didn't play football. Everyone's calling me soft in the chat, I'm sure, but whatever. Whatever, dude. Shut up. I was Kenny Powers, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
right.
So anyways, but the first game I went to, I think it was in 2010 or 2011. It was me and my wife, who grew up a Raiders fan, and she was like, let's just go. We bought tickets on Mountain Davis.
Okay.
But tickets on Mountain Davis to see them play the Seahawks, and this was their last year under Holmgren. I think this is the year I got fired. Raiders won 33-3. They had that very underrated defensive line of Trevor Scott and those guys. I don't think Seymour was there yet. Maybe he was. I think it might have been the first year of Seymour, Tommy Kelly.
Yeah.
You know, they were kind of nasty on defensive line, and they just tore Matt Hasselbeck apart. They just tore him apart, turnovers all day. And I was like, this is my team. That, like, truly, it put, like, I'd been watching them on TV for a long time, and they were blacked out for a long time in the Bay Area. You had to listen on the radio. People forget about that era for sure. But then watching that was like watching it in person. I was sitting right behind Marshawn Lynch's entire family, and his mom had a Seahawks jersey. It said Mama Lynch on it. And we kicked their ass. And I was like, fuck it. This they kind of put the stamp on, like, you know what? I'm here for the ride. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. My first game was in 1998, my bad. 1998, when they played the Cardinals at Sun Devil Stadium, when the Cardinals just played that shitty. Sun Devil Stadium not shit anymore, but it was just stupid for the Cardinals to be playing there.
Yeah.
Outdoor
football.
Yeah, stupid. So the Raiders. That's the first game with Jeff George as quarterback. John Gruden's first year, 1998. That's the first Raiders game I went to. They won that game 23-20. I remember that. I went with my dad to watch that shit.
You said Jeff George?
Yeah, Jeff George is quarterback.
Dude, he was raw for the Raiders. Didn't he only play 1 or 2 seasons for them? But he had 1 year. If you look at his numbers, that 1 year he had where he was raw.
Yeah. So this is the second year when John Gruden didn't like him. So Gruden didn't like him, and Gruden played
crazy. That's crazy. Because that first year that they got him, he was nasty for the Raiders.
Yeah.
That I'll have to pull up the numbers, but I don't remember. I was looking it up the other day. He had 1 year with the Raiders that was like, holy shit, I'll take that right now. Are you kidding me? You know,
yeah. I'm looking at it right now. He's 29 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
Yeah, I'll take that right now. Are you kidding me? Like that's, if we had that last year, that'd be great. But yeah, he was not a bad Raider quarterback. But yeah, Gruden didn't like him. Brought in Rich Gannon, so it's an upgrade.
Yeah, Toko Man, so you're not a real Raiders fan if you never smoked a blunt during a losing season at the top of Mount Davis with the half empty stadium in December.
That was crazy, man. Yeah, you would hide it. You would hide. The best way to do it, right, is you would hide that in your shoe, man. You put the blunt in your shoe, right? And back in the day when you had those puffy like skater shoes, I'd have those puffy like skater shoes, like Moonside, like Osiris skater shoes. They put the blunt in there. Not saying I partook, I just hit it for a friend, of course.
Exactly.
But I had the biggest shoes out of everybody. But yeah, I'm not saying I partook at all. But yeah, no, you're right. That's the way to do it. I had good luck going to a lot of Raider games. Even during bad years, I'd find a win somehow. It was crazy. Like I was there when Jason Campbell broke his collarbone, but then Jacoby Ford and Kevin Boss both had special teams touchdowns. I was just at that game. It was like randomly a win that they had. So I had good luck with them.
All right, let's get this last question. Get out of here, Marcus. You talked about the radio with Vinny. I could, if you guys wanted to. I could put those.
I bet people would. I bet people would listen to that if that was worth the time. I would, because I always see that you're on there, but I'm not in a position to be listening to the Raider Nation radio at the moment.
Yeah, he says you come. He's trying to get you some. He's trying to OnlyFans you here.
Do you think I didn't show up today high or what?
Please come to the next live super high. I super chat $100 a seat.
Right. Actually, you're right. I've never done it. Next time will be the first time for $100. You're right. Yeah.
You get pimped out now.
Hey. I've been asked to get a high for less money before. I'll tell you.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've gotten a lot higher for a lot less.
Yeah. So some are on Spotify and Apple, but I could do that for you guys. I could post that. I could do that. I could put like a little TDL thing and do my little segment.
That'd be tight, man. That'd be good.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
That was very fun. Any Raider history stuff, I freak out. Like I love the Raider history stuff.
I love that stuff. So yeah, we'll continue this next week. We'll do this, get this done, man, and keep you guys going with this type of stuff. But yeah, we'll be back too with some film on Sunday. So make sure you check that out. Also got Geno Smith versus the Cardinals. It's a very good game to watch because it's like a game where the offensive line actually played well. So you kind of can see if the offensive line plays well, how he would play. So you go ahead and check that out. He said a suggestion, do a position tiers ranking. We'll get there. We'll get there. AFC
Let's do it.
West.
No, I like that though. Position tier. So they're talking about current construct, like defensive ends. Yeah. No, I'm with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
We got 6 weeks till training camp, guys.
Yeah,
So
man, we got a while.
Yeah.
My boy Andrew, he witnessed immaculate incompletion in person. I couldn't imagine dealing with that.
Damn, Andrew. Damn. He
imagine.
did say that the Raiders were training camp was in 1960 in Santa Cruz. That is sick. Oh my gosh, can you imagine, dude?
Yeah,
That's
for
so
sure.
tight. I love that city.
All right, bro. Subscribe, guys. We're out of here. Peace.